Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video I would like to provide some commentary on healing Nidhogg Extreme. First and foremost, I do not claim to be an expert on healing. I have been a DPS in all serious rating tiers since the release of the game. That being said, I have healed every extreme primal other than Thornton, just because I didn't do a lot of Thornton to begin with. So I just would like to say that ahead of time. I'm not claiming to be the best here. I'm just claiming that I can probably help get you through Nidhogg Extreme with a little bit of advice and a little bit of analysis and commentary here. This group was found in the Party Finder. A friend asked me to join it. Took us about 20 or 30 minutes of wipes, and then we still had a wipe here and then before we cleared it maybe 5 or 6 times total. So that's the kind of that's the level of play that we are having here inside of this group. Overall, it was a good group. I got a lot of items from this, and we got a lot done. So happy with the group that I joined. So let's just get right into it because this is probably going to be a pretty long video. Alright, so I am co-healing with a Scholar here. Scholar has the deployment for the Eloquium and the Stone Skin. Well, I did the Stone Skins before the pull started. So one thing you can do here as an Astra or a White Mage, you can throw a regen on the main tank. You should be able to full-time DPS here for the very beginning. I did a Combust 2 and a Combust. I could have done a little bit more. Because I didn't place that regen on the tank prior, unfortunately I had to stop DPSing to heal him right here. Figured I'd throw on an AoE heal while I was at it. Might as well let that tick everyone up. So, with that out of the way, I got a little bit more DPS out. He's just going to regen up from the aspected benefic that he has on him. Made a little bit of a mistake right there, but that's fine. He's clemencying it back up. What I try to do, I try to stay as close to the middle of the room as possible, so that way between flights 1 and 2, I can AoE heal people as they run back to the center of the room. Also get a few spot heals off for anyone who gets hit by an extra AoE. As you saw, I got hit by an extra AoE there, so definitely hurt a lot more. And then here, it's pretty much more of the same thing, with the fairy co-healing and just a couple of heals on the main tank. Like, there was a lot of extra unnecessary damage taken during that flight phase, so not a big deal. I'll just have to throw out a few more heals. Basically, you should be able to just throw a regen on there, a single target regen and an AoE regen, and then just be perfectly fine to continue to DPS this phase. For Hot Tail, right here, nobody should be taking damage. I was playing it a little bit safe because people were kind of already getting hit, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to play it safe. You can usually be full-time DPSing there, since there's no auto attacks or damage coming out. For this phase, I was assigned to heal this target. However, I wanted to put... I'm also baiting out the fires from the Shadow Dragon. Remember, the target who's farthest away can bait out the fires from the Shadow Dragon. So I put my Sinistry on the Brobignac tank while the Shadow Dragon is over there. As the Shadow Dragon is winding up Ripper, that is when I applied Disable to this ad right here. That's a good timing for any of your cooldowns, that if you see the Shadow Dragon using Ripper, that's going to be about the time that the second stack hits your Frolic tank. So that gets taken care of. Once he's taken care of, then there's really no worries for the rest of the phase. It's all about pushing DPS here. In all honesty, until he gets to 2 stacks, I could be full-time DPSing right here. And I was in previous runs. This isn't really the best run, but it's the only one that I have recorded. So they kill the Frolic, and at this point, you really can full-time DPS. I don't know what I'm doing right here. Full-time DPS on the Shadow Dragon. Unless your MP is really, really strained, there's no damage here. As long as your party isn't getting hit, which I know is not always the case when it comes to the Party Finder, but as long as nobody's getting hit here, there's no reason for me to just be sitting in my regular stance. I've got plenty of MP. Should be full-time DPSing. Really, once the Brobignac dies, the damage should be so low until the second stack hits the second tank. And sometimes you don't even get a second stack, that you could full-time DPS as soon as the Brobignac is dead. As a healer, at the very least. For this, I just throw an AoE regen on everyone, get this thrown up. We have a crit Adlo, so you're going to see this does virtually no damage. It's a virtual game, so I guess that makes sense. I keep the shield up while we're waiting for the dragon to become closer to targetable, but just before he becomes targetable, I run over to the side of the arena, I start throwing on some dots. And one thing that I already had a regen here, that's why I elected not to just do it. Not to just stay. And in all honesty, I could have stayed in DPS stance still. He'd be fine right now. He had plenty of regens, he had plenty of health. I run immediately back to the middle of the room to get an AoE heal off for people after the dives right there. And the tank picks up the tether. Unfortunately, one of our ninjas is a little too close. I got to use the MP on that. I'm the one who's pretty much on swift cast raise duty. I'll be the first one to do it. I've been letting our Scholar try to full-time DPS here as well. And he's been doing a good job with that, throwing these suckers whenever we need it. One thing I'm going to do here is I want to make sure I get a protect. and a Stone Skin on the weakened target. Now, that's not always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes MP gets a little bit more stressful than that. But one thing I like to do during the claw and nail phase is anyone who has a red tether, and you can see that on your party list. You can see the red and blue tethers on your party list. I throw them an aspected benefic. Just lets them regen up before this little explosion right here. And then if I'm in the explosion, I'll do the AoE in the explosion. If not, I'll make sure that I stand between the explosion and everyone else, so that way I can get a nice big AoE heal on everyone. Same deal here. I am again also getting some heal help from the Scholar during this phase. In all honesty, I could probably solo heal this phase, but it's appreciated the help. We never organized who was going to be, if I was going to be solo healing and him DPS the whole time. We kind of just came to a silent agreement on it. So one thing I'd like to take note of here is I ran over to my Dark Dragon dive position early. One thing I would do differently here, just after the second cleave, after the second Alamorn, I would throw on an AoE aspected Helios versus the single target one, right? Throw on an aspected Helios on the group so that everybody has a passive regen going into this next phase. I think that's a very important thing to do as an Astro, as opposed to getting into position early. So for this, I make sure that I just start spot healing with aspected benefic. As soon as I take a hit, I give one to myself, I give one to the co-healer, and that's the tether mechanic. The tank took the tether off me. I got 2 attacks right there. And if you have light speed, I opt not to use it because my position is so good. Because the actual Dark Dragon dive, the super jump, happened on the other side of the arena. So I like to just stand still and AoE heal since everyone's on my side of the arena. But anyone who's missing health, you can spot heal with aspected benefics or use light speed there. That's a great place to use light speed to make sure nobody dies to the super jump. And everyone has at least around 8,000 to 9,000 health to survive it. I ended up using my light speed immediately after because both the tanks took damage, and as an inexperienced healer, I wasn't too comfortable with that prospect. So I used it here to make sure that the tank, who had like 5,000 health, survived. On this Blood Rage, everyone's still ticking up from the aspected. We get an Indom, we get a Helios, everybody spreads out. That person got hit by the AoEs. Now this is where you need to make sure people don't die, like more than any other place, because if you start losing people just before an Akmorn, it could be really dangerous. Luckily, we're able to... I give him a spot benefic too, and we're okay. And this first one doesn't hit too bad anyway, but you can see that me starting off without that was definitely dangerous. He came really, really close to dying, the ninja. Even though the guy who I spot healed didn't come close to dying, but the ninja, who I wasn't spot healing because I had to spot heal the other ninja, they came really close to dying. So it's really dangerous if you have to dedicate a heal to a non-AoE heal. During all that madness. During this, nobody's taking damage, so I realistically could be DPSing as long as everybody's dodging these attacks properly. The thing is that I'm on the move right here, so without light speed, there's not really too much I can do, but I could have been pulling off a lot more DPS since all he was doing was auto-attacking. So we're doing this one with 7 people. That means it's going to hurt quite a bit more. I'm even going to swift cast a heal right here to make sure I can get it off instantly. Oh, well, I was trying to, and my swift cast didn't go off because I was pressing it too fast. I tried to do that, though. Leave that option open. If you don't need your swift cast for the res, then that's okay. I end up using my swift cast for the res right here, so it works out. Even though the Scholar should have had a swift cast available. So either way, he would have been fine. Important to get Protect back up, and especially important for things like Stone Skins and Shields. I can only get the Protect for now. While we're running over here, once again, he's only auto-attacking here, and I actually screw up a mechanic right here, just because I get kind of thrown off by where his Hot Tail ends up going. Remember, you just want to run to the opposite end here. I don't know why I do this. I start running to the opposite end, and then I just panic. Just turn around. It's not good because that's not superation. That's a fire damage over time. It's about 1,500 damage a tick. And because you have this bellow right afterwards, it's scary. So I start throwing out some AoEs right here. I've got Sinistry on, and even then, this still hurts a lot. Keep the shield up for the entirety of the third one. I have a disable for the fourth one. But we've done all of these with 7 people minus the first one, and that starts to get harder and harder and harder to deal with. So, not the best example. However, if your group's DPS is good, that might be the last Akmorn that you do. If you get another Akmorn after this, that's really where the cooldowns need to start coming in. Like the Akmorn after this, you gotta either have a light speed or do we have to, oh no, we have to do the next Akmorn on this one. That's right. We end up this was the only run where we had to do the next Akmorn after this Hot Wing. And we all died. We almost all died because somebody dies right here. I don't know who, but somebody dies right here. Oh, well, and now I know who. Yep, there we go. And now it's only 7 of us. I have disable, but it's not good. And I have light speed. So he's got the disable on. I've got light speed Helios going like crazy here, and you can see it's rough without the Indom. I actually die here, the other healer stays alive, and we have enough people alive in general just to finish up the boss fight. I think he kills some of them with a bellowing roar. He's about to right here. You can get a rough idea of how the healing goes in this fight. A lot of it as an Astro is taking your time to spot heal, to make sure to be in the right position for aspected Helioses ahead of time, and then to just not really panic. Like, I wasn't panicked during this, I was just thinking, I don't know if we're going to make it here. That was pretty much the extent of what it was like to do this. It was really fun to heal. I think this is a fun fight to heal if you're someone who's new to healing and you're looking to do some end game. I think this is a good test for healers in a lot of sense. There is plenty of time to DPS. I wanted to make sure to point out a lot of those times. Like, right here. As soon as people are healed up, it should be regen on the tank, and then I can DPS. I have plenty of accuracy melded on my character. I was playing it a little bit safe, too, because I only had, what is it, like 2,800 MP. So you got to be, of course, always be mindful of your MP if you are deciding to heal. We do have a ballad now. I'm still just kind of playing it safe because we've had a lot of deaths in this phase. That was really the thing that stopped me personally from putting out more DPS here. But it happens, and as long as you're analyzing the fight, looking for where you can use things like disable, where Sinistry will be useful, when you can ever get some more MP out, is it good to use collective unconscious, anything at all. One thing I will say as an Astro, definitely I overthought it a little bit. I don't think I used time dilation once this entire fight, which is really bad. I've pulled plenty of balances, I pulled plenty of cards in general that I could have extended. I was so focused on not screwing up healing because I was so inexperienced that I took liberties elsewhere as an Astro where you shouldn't. Time dilation is really strong whether you're trying to give your tank super buffed healing, or you're trying to give a party member a super long balance. A lot of people were dying. No, I guess maybe I didn't feel comfortable doing it, but that's another improvement I would very clearly make. Make sure you're actually using time dilation. It's a very good ability. Don't ignore it. And don't do this. We're going to watch this one more time. Don't do this. Just run to the opposite end. The opposite corner of the room was perfectly safe. That's where the third set of orbs, I'm sorry, the second set of orbs was. I would have been perfectly safe there. Don't do what I did there. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this commentary. Like I said, I know it wasn't exactly the greatest showing of healing, but it showed it on kind of an average level, and I hope that that is of some help to you. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned for more perspectives. Hopefully I can get a tank perspective sometime soon, although I don't think the tank perspective has a whole lot going on here, minus, I guess, the ad phase or picking up tethers or anything like that. But either way, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.